Welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck. I am Mary, and I'm joined today by Jan and Carmen. And we also have Representative Jeff Magrum with us today. But later in the show, we're also going to visit with Brad Miller. He has some concerns about the Bismarck Public School Board, or the system, and we have some graphs and documents that we want to show you. But we also want you to know that we did reach out to Bismarck Public School Systems, and we have not heard back. Later in the show, it's still Military Appreciation Week, so we'll leave you with some lighter side on that. But first of all, Jeff, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, ladies. I always appreciate visiting with you.
Oh, it's been great. You know, ran into you last night at the Tim Tebow event, by the way. The North Dakota Right for Life are in town. Big event, fundraiser, but ran into you last night. But there's been, I guess our biggest concern is there was a flyer that went out about you, about the National Guard, and I think we have part of that. We have two of them, actually. This is one of them. It says, Jeff Magrum voted against funding the North Dakota National Guard. It's time to replace Jeff Magrum in the North Dakota legislature. Our men and women deserve better. Wow. All right. And then Magrum votes against funding the North Dakota National Guard. Unbelievable, but true. So I lean towards the unbelievable of that flyer. Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, that is the bad thing about what's going on in North Dakota politics today. They take one part of the bill and they try to use it against you. Now that particular bill is House Bill 1016, and they were reducing the budgeting to the first responders by well over $500,000. Well, first responders in our area is huge because of the rural area. My wife used to be a first responder. I was a volunteer fireman for Hazelton Rural Fire Department, and I didn't want to see them reduce funding for the first responders. So I said, I'm not going to support the bill unless we're at record spending levels by far. I mean, we went from a $4 billion budget in the 2 years prior to this last session to $7 billion.
Holy buckets,
now
that's
we don't have
double.
money for the first responders, and so now they twist it and say I'm against the military. Everyone that's in the game knows that I'm as pro-military as anyone, and they've actually written letters of support for me last election on the help that I've given them in the legislature with many of their things they want to get done, and I've been the prime sponsor on many of their pieces of legislation. My uncles were in the military, my oldest brother. I used to play the taps for all the military veterans' funerals in our area at one time. And me and my brother would do the echo effect. I mean, we are as pro-military as anybody, so it's just an insult. But what really is so sad is that they're trying to deceive our people into thinking that we don't care about them, I mean, what an insult.
Okay, so Jeff,
I think people trust me enough in our district now that...
Who do you think is behind that?
Well, we know the governor's behind it because he is trying to get anyone out of the way that is a dissenting vote or questions anything. You know, the definition of a tyrant is anyone who gets rid of any dissenting votes or any dissenting or questioning opinions, because they don't value anyone's opinion but their own. So...
Okay, so let's pop up the headlines. This was in the Fargo Forum. We have headlines from the Fargo Forum regarding Burgum's statement. So it says, Governor Burgum bankrolls effort to unseat the North Dakota GOP lawmakers, including top budget writer.
They can do that? And why would they? It's his own party.
Well, the question is he in violation of Article 5, Section 10 of the North Dakota Constitution? Because our founders, they've seen this tyrannical efforts before. I mean, you even look at McKenzie, which was a city in my old district, and we still have part of it. But Alexander McKenzie tried the same thing back in the day when he was Burleigh County Sheriff. He made his fortune in the gold industry up in Alaska. He came back here and he started trying to take over state politics with his money. And a guy named John Burke, who there's a huge statue right on the Capitol, south side of the Capitol, he broke up what they called the McKenzie machine of the day. So this is not new to North Dakota politics. But this kind of money that is being spent by we call them the Brigadestein regime, because it's Burgum, Gates, Epstein, and they're all together, you know, and so they're trying to take over the North Dakota government entirely. And what 2 years ago, when the governor called me and we had a half-hour discussion, and he was threatening me that he's going to take me out of office. And so he was in violation then of our North Dakota Constitution, but I tried to get support to do an investigation on what he's up to, but there are so many legislators concerned about being a target of him, like I am, that they were, and I even had a bill that would reinforce it, which we shouldn't need. It would reinforce the Constitution and say we need to investigate any of these types of activities by our governor, because he, you know, the thing is, people say, well, he has freedom of speech. He can use his money against whoever he wants. But let's just say you're a nurse. You have freedom of speech too, but you can't run around telling everybody what your patient is, their medical history. If you're an insurance agent, you can't run around and say, I have freedom of speech, I can talk about my clients. No, when you take a job like he has, you have a responsibility to serve the public, and you're in the executive branch, and we have 3 branches of government for a reason, and they are a check and balance on each other. They should not be one branch, because then what you have is a king. And so he's out of line. It needs to be stopped. I don't know what's going to happen, but I appeal to everybody that's getting any flyers from the North Dakota Leadership PAC. It's called the Brighter Future PAC. Now, we call it the Darker Future PAC, but any of those kind of flyers, they're all Burgums. They're all supporting Burgumites. And so please vote against them. If you want a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, then reject the governor's attack on our government. It's our government. It's the people's government, not the governor's government.
Okay, so let's quickly go over Article 5, Section 10. It says, a governor who asks, receive, or agrees to receive any bribe upon any understanding that the governor's official opinion, judgment, or action shall be influenced thereby, or who gives or offers or promises the governor's official influence in consideration that any member of the Legislative Assembly shall give the member's official vote or influence on any particular side of any question or matter upon which the member may be required to act in the member's official capacity, or who menaces any member by the threatened use of the governor's veto power, or who offers or promises any member that the governor will appoint any particular person or persons to any office created or thereafter to be created, in consideration that any member shall give the member's official vote or influence on any matter pending or thereafter to be introduced into either house of the Legislative Assembly, or who threatens any member of that governor or threatens any member that the governor will remove any person or persons from office or position with intent in any manner to influence the action of that member, must be punished in the matter now, or that may hereafter be provided by law, and upon conviction thereof forfeits all right to hold or exercise any office of trust or honor in this state, period.
Amen. And he's done all of those. And he should have been removed now, but hereafter is fine as well.
How is it that there's been no legal action taken on this? I mean, is it up to the candidates that are being harassed like this that are on the ballot this time? Is it up to the Attorney General? Who holds the power to say that's not right? We need to have a lawsuit or something.
And in 1 minute or less.
The power of impeachment is in the House of Representatives. We have the power to call for impeachment inquiry or articles of impeachment to be drawn up in an investigation. And I have heard, and this came to me last night of all nights, so it was a great night. So someone told me that he had people in his office to discuss with other legislators how they were going to vote on the Luke Simons debacle when they expelled Luke Simons without due process. He was actually having them come in his office and discussing how they were going to vote. So you want to, yeah, I mean, he's in serious violation.